Hey guys, welcome back to Pat's Creature Cave. I'm Pat, and today we're going to be rehousing some spiders. Now, these are spiders I've done videos on in the past. I'm going to be doing a little bit of an update with them because they've grown quite a bit, and now they're ready for some new enclosures. The three species that we're dealing with is the curly hair, the green bottle blue, and the Venezuelan Sun Tiger. Now I'll put the scientific names below and kind of go over them a little bit as I'm rehousing them. First up, we're going to do the curly hair. Now, I've named this one Hagrid. He's turned into a little bulldozer. Without the glare, I'm not sure if you can see that. He has completely done his enclosure. Half the time his water dish is buried and I unbury it. He buries it again. He's going to end up in, I believe it's an 8x8x8 Exoterra, which I'm just expecting him to bulldoze it again. This is what we're going to do, is he's a pretty chill spider. He'd rather just hide with his head in a hole and his butt hanging out than attack or do anything else. So I'm just going to try to coax him out of there and into his new enclosure. Alright, got our catch cup. Now let's see if we can get him out of here. You can see he is... well, he's behind the label here. He's got just his butt sticking out of the hole. Come on, buddy. He is definitely a beautiful little spider. It's a real docile species. I think that's the first time. This web's attached to my paintbrush. First time that I've had him ever act like he was kicking hairs. We've got him in his new home now. We're going to get this all buttoned up and we will move on to tarantula number 2, which I think we'll do the Psalmopoeus irminia, the Venezuelan Sun Tiger. This one should be pretty easy. It's really webbed up its current enclosure, which was a 669. He's ready for, she, whoever it is ready for a bigger enclosure. And for that, I've got, I think it's an 8812 Exoterra enclosure. It could quite literally stay in for the remainder of its life, as that's a big enough size on a minimum end for an adult sun tiger. I've got a piece of Lexan here that I cut and drilled. Looks like he's trying to figure out how to get around in this enclosure. The two bigger enclosures, the two Exoterras that I'm doing for the Sun Tiger and this curly hair, I actually used some thin cork bark sheets that I found off of Amazon. They came in a pair. They're easy to cut. Could just use a box cutter and score them a couple times and then cut through. And I cut it so that it fits perfectly up against the back. It looks great. Alright, so maybe this wasn't a 669. This is like a 4x4x6 or 8, 7. Maybe it's 4x4x7. That's what this AMAC box is. Yeah, this one's webbed up just a little bit and flung poop just about everywhere. This one's got a big cork round in the middle that's got an opening on the side, like a large piece where a piece broke off. I cut it at the top and bottom, and then it's got a small little hole around the back. Then I wrapped a piece of fake ivy around the top just to give it a little bit of a plant and open it up. And then for the most part, the enclosure is rather bare, only because based on how he used the last one, or she, the spider didn't really use much of anything but that cork round, and everything else was just there and sometimes made it harder to keep clean. The only thing that's going to be down there is going to be a little bit of moss that it will probably use in its dirt curtains. So this is an arboreal species. Seems to really like cork rounds, and it will spend probably 95% of its time in the cork round, and then the most you'll see of it, at least mine, is when it's ready to eat. You'll see a couple little black legs with orange chevrons on them sticking out, and that is the extent of it. So this is an enclosure that I haven't really had open all the way in quite some time. I usually just kind of tip it a little bit. That's it. You can kind of see in there just how webbed up it is, and it's got a little dirt curtain here at the bottom that has slowly gotten bigger and bigger. My plan is to just take the cork bark out, put it in there, and the spider do the rest. All the web is coming with it. See all that? I leave the top open. We're just going to set that in here. We'll just leave that in there, and hopefully tonight or at some point I will see the tarantula in the new hide, and I will be able to remove the old cork round that is all webbed up and that good stuff. So there's Sun Tiger. That one's done. The green bottle blue, which a lot of people consider it semi-arboreal, and people in some of the forums get absolutely irate about people that keep these in a arboreal setup. Well, because there's more than one way to skin a cat and quite a few more ways to keep a spider or a tarantula, this particular green bottle blue, though it was only half an inch when I got it, which I did set it up more in an arboreal enclosure, and guess what? It never once used the hide that I had for it down on the bottom. Hardly ever used the water dish. That was just kind of for show, and usually would get dead bugs dumped in it. It spent most of its time, because I gave it enough foliage up in the top, these fake plants and anchor points for webbing, that's where it's spent every day of its life with me. For this, I've got I think it's a 686 enclosure with a sliding top. This one I believe came from Amazon. It's a Reptizoo acrylic enclosure. I've used these for scorpions and stuff like that, and they work pretty good, especially this size for some of the smaller like bark scorpions or a small Hottentotta. This one should be interesting because this spider, like I said, it's webbed up down to the bottom now, but it's up top. And it's been up top. Hopefully can chase it out. If not, I'm going to have to pop the plants off, which is probably what I'll do anyways. Just pop the plants off and just try to coax it into the new enclosure. It's the glory of hot glue, is that it holds to a point. Such a pretty spider. This one's still orange on its bottom, the orange stripe that they have when they're juveniles and slings. It's amazing how strong the webbing is. Nice shot of the green bottle blue. To molt again, you've got a big old butt. And I've since been feeding this one about once a week with some of the other juveniles. Got a new home, buddy. That wraps up this rehousing video, and I'll have quite a few more coming up. So if you like spiders and you like seeing rehousing videos or seeing how I keep them, then be sure to like and subscribe. Check out the other videos. I've done some housings in the past or unboxings. Likes and subscribes help the channel, help me. They help the spiders. Everybody likes to help the spiders. With that, if there's any particular species care or anything that you want to see or want my take on, then drop me a comment below. Let me know what you want to see, and I will see what I can do to find it, get it, research it, and then tell you what I think and how I would keep it. As always, I will leave you with some B-roll, probably some feedings of these particular spiders if I've got anything worthwhile. If not, it'll just be a few other species. You all have a good night, and we'll see you later.